Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. Today is Sunday, October 11th, and this is episode 92. I actually remembered. I can get really proud of myself for simple things like that. Anyway, let's get started. Below the conch shell, the only announcement that I have is that the Fall Colors Knit Along is going on for October and November. So anything you knit that has to do with any sort of fall colors, so whatever that means to you, whether it's the colors of the leaves changing or the colors of like Halloween, or maybe it's your school colors because you're going back to school in the fall, I don't know, something. You make it work and I'll take it. Unless it's really far off, then maybe I might question it, but generally you guys have pretty good judgment as far as colors into the theme of the knit along goes. That didn't really make complete sense, but whatever. You guys get it. So there have been lots of people posting in the thread already. Feel free. It's a chatter picture post bonanza thread. I mean, whatever you want to put in there. And then when I pull prizes, the only posts eligible to win prizes will be ones with pictures of finished objects. That's the only thing. But I like to keep it all together in one thread because it makes it easier for everyone. So on the island, I have some things, as I usually do, right? It's a knitting podcast, so hopefully I would have things on the needles. So let's start by the top of my list. I have the Peaceful Pullover, which I have been working on quite a lot, actually, because it's rather simple and easy to take with me, even though it's a sweater. But it's simple that I can take it with me. So that's where it is now. I think where I was last week was just above this thing. I put that in right after I blocked it, so from here down it's been blocked, and from there up it hasn't been. I know I'm hiding it, but you can kind of see the line. There happened to be a dark part of the yarn there, so there is kind of a clear line, but there's also lines other places. So that's where I blocked it, and that's how much I've done, and according to the pattern, I'm up to the armholes. So that's why I had to put it on hold for a little bit until I can sit down and read the pattern and figure out the armholes. So that is that. And the pattern is by Maria Yarley, and the yarn is Miss Babs Katahdin in First Choice. So that is coming along nicely, and I'm very excited to get that done with, or at least get the next part done, because the sleeves are just stockinette, so they should be pretty easy. I just have to get to them. Next, I have my summer sweater that I'm just kind of making up the pattern for, and I finished which one's the front? I think this is the front. I finished the armholes, which are gigantic. Or at least they seem gigantic. When I put it on, it's not. They don't seem so bad. But I Kitchenered the top. I think it's right about there. You can kind of see it. And I Kitchenered the tops, and then picked up for the ribbing around the neck hole. And I think I'm gonna rip it out, pick it back up in a smaller needle size because it's just kind of stretched out there. I'm gonna do 2x2 ribbing like I have on the bottom, and I think I just need a smaller needle size for the ribbing. And this is Rowan Creative Linen in Foggy. And I did weave in all my ends for the sweater part so that I wouldn't have to do as many later, which was kind of nice. When I did change balls, I did, I think I explained this before, when I switch from one ball to another one. Well, if I'm at the end of a ball, I didn't alternate skeins. If I'm at the end of a skein and I'm going to the next skein, I just kind of knit them together, so you knit with 2 strands for like 5 or 6 stitches, and then drop the end and then continue knitting with the new skein. And that kind of secures that end, and then you don't really have to weave it in, which is great for later on. Let me tell you. So that's where it's at so far. I'm on the neckband, and then I'm going to pick up and probably do, I think I'm going to pick up all the way around and then do some short rows at the top to create the like shoulder part. And then once I get to, you know, here, then I'll just knit straight down. So that's the plan so far. And I'm still, I forget how many skeins I got of this, but I have this much left of, I think this is the 3rd one, and then I have 1 more. I think I bought 4. So I should have plenty. I also have the swatch that I did, that if I need a little extra, I can take this out. So, I think yeah, this was the bigger needle size up here. You can see the ribbing is like way stretched out, whereas down here, it looks a lot cleaner. So I'm going to go down the needle size and figure that out. So that's should be done just in time for all the really cold weather. Yeah, it was really cold for a while, and then it got warm for a little while, and today it's supposed to be almost 80 degrees. So that's why I'm wearing a sleeveless dress. So we'll see if it actually gets up to 80 degrees. But yesterday it was supposed to get up to 70, and it was nice in the sun when there was no wind, and then the wind would blow, and it's really cold. So I'm feeling that might be similar to today. We'll see. All right, next on the needles, I have a new pair of Ludmilla socks out of GnomeAcres House Gnome in the Baby Gnome colorway, which is this lovely purples, which is, I've got, there we go. Let's get this all sorted. What is going on here? Sorry. There we go. So that's what the pattern looks like in a nice tonal purple. And I'm knitting these for my aunt who loves purple. And she has wide feet, so I'm knitting them actually in the larger size. There are 3 sizes for the pattern. So that is, ta-da, those done. No, the pattern is still not ready yet, if you're wondering. It means almost ready. Almost ready. Soon, very soon. I'm hoping by next week. There's just all these little things that need to be done for that. So that's Ludmilla. Next is my shawl design. I cast it back on. And this is out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy in Glacier is the colorway. And here it is so far. Ta-da! I know it's not much to show. But I did sit down and do the math that I needed to, or some of it at least, for the increases. And I've done 2 sections out of, I don't know how many. We're just going to see how much I can get out of the yarn. So that's that. I think I'm about to do another set of increases. That's what it feels like. I think I finished the section and then needed to calculate the increases, but it was getting late, so I'm going to do another set of increases and then the next section. So instead of giving you like a bazillion options for each section, I'm going to give you 2, and you can choose which one you want. Stockinette and garter are also going to be options. Those are super simple, but they will be fully charted for each section, so that'll make it easier for you. And I might write them out. I will probably end up writing them out, but I might release that as charted first, and then release the written instructions later once I get them written up, because those are harder to do. Because for me, it's easier to knit from charts, and so it's easier to design from charts is what I'm trying to get at there. So that is coming along, and I'm knitting those on my new size 3s because I wanted a nice long cord, because this gets very long very quick. And these are I think I still have the thing in here. maybe I don't. I don't think they're the sharps. They don't seem very sharp. I think they're just the regulars. And I'm liking them a lot. I was knitting this on my size 3. Well, all my size 3s are wooden. So it's much slippier, which is nice. And I've also been trying out my Sunvalley Fibers Yarn Buddy, which I'm really liking. I had it on, sitting there on the bed, actually, as I was knitting on the shawl. And, you know, you just pull on it and it comes. And I just like tug it a little bit and a bunch would unravel because the ball bearings are very smooth. There's not a whole lot of friction. So I just pull it and a bunch would come off. And then, you know, like another row and a half later, I just, you know, and I wouldn't have to take, other times when I'm, you know, tugging at yarn, I will have to like unwrap it from my finger, go and like pull it out. You know, this one I just kind of like tugged it a little bit and kept knitting. So it was really great that I didn't have to take the yarn off my hand and then wind it back up. And it's just those little things that speed up your knitting, which are really great. So this is my initial review of the Yarn Buddy. I'll get more in depth as I use it more. But the other great thing I discovered is that it fits in this knitting bag. So this is one of my little skein bags, which are quite large, but it fits in here. Sorry, there's a lot of noisy things in the bag, but I have it in here with my notebook. You can't see that. So I have my notebook and a bunch of notions things which are making a lot of noise, but the height fits in there. You can see, like just barely, there it is. There you see it, or now you see it, now you don't. And I can zip it up with it in there, like it just zips up. Dun dun! So, I mean, it does poke right there, but it's not a pointy thing, so it doesn't, you know, mess with the bag at all. So I thought that was brilliant, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to take it off or put it back on. I mean, I could lay it sideways too, but I just like that it fits standing up, and the bottom of the bag is like just the right width for the Yarn Buddy. I was like, great. So then I can just sit it in there, and then, you know, if I don't want to take it out of the bag, I can just pull the bag back and just kind of tug on it from there, but usually take it out. So that was the initial review of the Yarn Buddy, plus my shawl design, which I'm still working on, obviously. And that's it for On the Island. I did finish something this week, because you'll notice that these socks, ta-da, are not on the needles anymore. This is the Whiz Bang pattern by Sara Shoo, and the yarn is Lorna's Laces in their Shepherd Stripe. Yep, which I don't think they make anymore. Or they might, but they make it in, it's different now. Anyway, I bought these 3 years ago, or bought the yarn 3 years ago, and then knit it into another pair of socks, and then decided to rip those out because it just didn't fit right. And these fit much better. So I'm very pleased with them. And they blocked out really nicely, and you can really see the slip stitches. It's funny how one sock, the slip stitches turned out to be mostly purple, in the purple, and one sock turned out to be them mostly in the white. I don't know what happened, but, you know, I'm okay with it. They still look nice. And it breaks up that pooling. You can notice underneath the slip stitches that there would have been some pooling, which would have annoyed the heck out of me. So having those slip stitches really breaks it up, and it was very nice. You can see that there is a line up here at the top on both socks where I ran out of yarn from the initial socks and had to switch to the extra ball that I have. I still have extras, but I have less extras because I like my socks tall. I have these like short boots that I wear, not ankle boots, but like one up from that. And I like the socks to be taller than them, because otherwise the top of the zipper will rub, or things like that. I mean, generally I wear them with pants, so they don't really rub, but I like that. I like it when my socks stick out of the top, because I like to show off my socks. And the ribbing did stripe, you can see more on this side, did stripe white, purple, white, purple, white, purple, which I thought was fun. And yeah, so, and I did do the Bootylicious heel that is in the pattern. I'm not sure if I did it entirely correct, but it fits, and that's what counts. It was very easy. It was very well written, and so I highly recommend this pattern. And yeah, I will definitely be trying that heel again. It's a little bit similar to the heel that I came up with, which is why I like it, because it does include a little bit of a gusset, and yeah, just a little bit of short rows, more of a gusset than short rows, but it's a simple gusset, so I like that. Gusset and then like heel flap. And it's written toe up. Yes, it's written toe up. So I did actually do it toe up. I didn't reverse engineer it. I think the slip stitches work better. I like the way they look. Toe up rather than cuff down. You could do it cuff. You could do the pattern cuff down. They would just look different. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The slip stitches would be the other direction. That's all. So that's it for set sail. From the mainland, I did get some things. I had talked, I guess last week, about the fact that I had gotten some knitting needles from, or had ordered some knitting needles from Knitter's Pride for review. And they came really quickly. I thought they were going to take a lot longer. So I just realized there's something else on the needles that I totally forgot about. So before I talk about that, let's go back. I realized it because the needles from it are sitting in the thing. It's not technically on the needles, but it's in progress. This is my sort of Gryffindor mitts. From the pattern is by Elizabeth Cherry, and it's in O-Loop's high twist, or 2-ply high twist in the Chosen One. And it's got this lovely lace pattern up the side, and then this like scallop lace pattern on the bottom. And I remember last time I was talking about sizing and how I thought, well, I was doing a large size and that just seemed too big, and then blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, oh, I'll just knit on size 1s and size medium and that'll work. And no, I was silly. I realized because I was looking at the pattern and trying to figure out how many of these lace repeats I was supposed to do. I'm cutting out the buttonholes because I'm just going to sew it shut and just put buttons on it for looks. And I thought, why are there decreases in it? And then I realized, Lucia, this doesn't have to fit around your wrist, the beginning of it. It has to fit around your upper arm because these are long mitts. And I'm like, well, of course your upper arm here is bigger than your wrist. My wrists are tiny, and up here, not so much. So, yeah, that's not going to fit around. It might fit around like half of it. So I took this off the needles, obviously. I'm like, I can't knit this on size 1s. It's never going to fit around here. So I'm going to go up to size 2s, maybe even 3s. I think I'm going to hold the yarn double and do the pattern and see how that works. There is lace on both sides, which makes it might make it a bit tricky to hold it double because there are some intense lace stitches on the purl side. I'm not going to give away the pattern, but there are some, it's a bit tricky. Once you get it, it's not hard, but figuring it out the first couple times you do it, you're like, what is going on? So that's this, and I will have to haul, you know what, on this to get these done before the end of the month for the O-Loops Harry Potter knit along. So that was a little frustrating this week as I'm knitting on them, and I'm like, why are there decreases in the pattern? Well, because this part of your arm is generally bigger than this part of your arm, so you need to decrease so that they look nice, right? I wasn't thinking straight when I started them. So that's why I noticed that the needles are in the bottom of the thing here, because I had them in my purse with these ones. So back to the needles that I got from Knitter's Pride. They're all sock needles, because I needed more sock needles, of course, because, you know, I like to knit socks, and it's October, and I'm like, all my sock needles are taken up. And I needed some easy socks that I could just take with me, because all my socks are complicated at the moment. So I got some Karbonz, which are currently in the Ludmilla socks. So I'll talk about those in a minute. So I got some Karbonz in size 1, which is 2.25 millimeters, and 40-inch cables, because that's what I like to use for my socks. They're all 40-inch cables, and most of them are size 1. I think I got one that's not. So this is another size 1, and this is the Nova Platinas, which I have used the earlier version of this, but these are new-ish, so I thought I'd try these. And they also have a different cable, I realized. The cable is different than the ones I have. So I'll talk about that in a minute. And I got the bamboo size ones because, I don't have any. I have some double pointed wood bamboo needles, but I thought, it'd be kind of fun to try some circulars because I don't knit my socks on double points very often. I have done it, but I prefer magic loop. I don't mind double pointed. I might try them in the future. But so I thought I would try these out for some like more slippery yarn because they are more grippy. And then I got some of the Nova Cubics, Nova Platinas. So they're the same surface and same cable and everything, but they're square. And I got they don't come in size 1, so I got 1.5, which I use for sport weight socks. And I have some sport weight socks that need knitting, so I'm going to use those on those. And so I will talk about these preliminaries of these, and because I took the size 1s, I can get these out of the socks because these are a 32-inch cable and they're just a little short. They're okay for socks, but I really like the 40. And these are, what are these? These are Hiya Sharps in size 1s. And I like them, the cable is a little short for socks. I don't mind it. If I was doing the one at a time, 32 would be perfect. So, are these the ones that are bent? No, my other ones are bent. I did send my Chow Goos to Chow Goo, and they're going to replace the ones that the needle broke off the cable. So, their customer service was very quick. We'll see how fast they send them back to me, but they were very easy to talk to. So, the Knitter's Pride Karbonz, here, I'll get them out and show them to you. I switched because I wanted to try the longer cable. And so I'm knitting the Ludmilla socks on them. And this is what they look like if you haven't seen them. They are carbon fiber. And they're actually pretty grippy, I was noticing. When I first started knitting with them, they were really grippy. And I had a hard time pushing the needle in and, pulling it out to knit with. But as I've been knitting with them, it's not as hard. So maybe they just need to warm up and they're not as hard to push in now. I do kind of have to get them like right at the edge before pushing them in, but I don't have a problem now getting them in and out of here, which is nice. And this join is really smooth, so I don't have a problem pushing the stitches over that at all. The cable is also grippier than previous Knitter's Pride or Knit Pro in Europe. And I think Canada is Knit Pro too, I can't remember. Anyway, it's a different cord. It's a little grippier, which is nice. In the beginning, it also was a bit too grippy, but now that I'm knitting with it, it's warmed up a little bit and it's not as hard to push the stitches over. The first thing I noticed, actually, not the first thing, but as I was knitting with this, I noticed this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but the size is very clearly written on not only the carbon fiber part, but also the base part. So it says US size 1, and then here it says US size 1, 2.25 millimeter, which I think is great. It's very clearly written in there. You can definitely see it. Because that's one of my biggest pet peeves is I'm always like, wait, what are these? Like, where is it? And because I just realized the other day I found some sock needles and I was like, oh, I'll use these. And then I looked at them in their size 0. I didn't think I had them in size 0, but it was really hard to find. I just somehow always assumed they were size 1. Who knows? Anyway, so I really like that, how clearly it's written on here. So that was a big bonus for me. And so those are my initial thoughts on them. They were a little bit grippy, but once I got going, I didn't notice it as much. And also, I kind of like how grippy they are at the moment, just because I don't have to worry about stitches falling off. Sometimes, when I push them up on the needles and then I have to put them down for a second, sometimes all my stitches just go boing and fly off, and that's really annoying. Whereas with these, I can push them up on there and they're not going anywhere, which is nice, because then if I shove them in my bag, I'll have to put them down or the cat grabs them or something. I don't have to worry as much. I mean, sometimes, things are still going to get pulled off, but it's not as bad. So those were my initial thoughts on the Karbonz, and I will let you know more next week as I continue knitting with them. So if you are thinking about getting them for socks, I tried them as double points and I didn't like them as much because the tip, like there is a join here because it's carbon fiber, and then like I think this is the same coating as the Nova Platinas, and there is this join there, and it's rougher on my double points for some reason, but on these I don't notice it as much. I didn't have a problem with it. The taper is rather short, I'm just noticing at the moment. I don't know if you can see that, but I don't seem to mind that, and they're pointy enough for me. They're not super pointy, but I like this a little blunt, so that because otherwise I stab myself with it. So I'm very happy with that point. It's the same as my other Knitter's Pride needles that I really enjoy, because I also my interchangeables are from Knitter's Pride. So that is it for this week, I think. I have to get ready to go to choir this morning. And yeah, so there's some initial reviews, some things that I'm knitting, the socks I finished. Yeah, I have some other things that I've been itching to knit, but I didn't have as much knitting time this week. It was mostly like during other things, so I had to only work on stuff that was easy to take with me, which is why I was really happy to get those needles in the mail, because then I could continue once I realized I could take the size ones out of the mitts, then I started the Ludmilla socks, because those were a lot easier to take with me. And then I switched to the Karbonz, and those have been really nice to just take with me. And I like the longer cable. I'm very happy with that. The shorter cable is just a little bit annoying. So those will probably get the most attention this week. They might be done by next week. We'll see how fast I can get to those. They are bigger than my original ones, so I don't know if I can knit them in a week. We'll see. But I hope to start lots more socks because it's October, and now I have a whole slew of sock needles. And yeah, we'll see how much time I have to figure out my sweaters, because those are kind of like at home, figure them out kind of deals. Plus they're getting a little big to take with me. So I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.